We have talked about the main purpose of the portfolio is to let you know what you are truly holding. And that is the main purpose for the breakdowns. And that's also the main purpose for this upcoming section, which we call stock and fund look-through. So ETFs are becoming more and more popular, and people use ETFs to get exposure to certain stocks or certain markets. So as a result of that, their portfolios are a mix of stocks and ETFs. And the common question we get from our users is, I need to know something that truly tells me what I have. Because quite often, as a very common situation, they have invested in some individual stocks, and also at the same time they invested in some ETFs that have those stocks inside the funds. And the question they ask is, how much of the stock I truly have? And that is why we use the stock and fund look-through to answer that question. So for our example portfolio, we have 5 stocks and 5 funds, which are quite handy to show you what we mean by the exact calculations. If you click show to expand, you will see these are the top 15 holdings of your entire portfolio by individual company. So what we do is we look at each of the funds, their top holdings, and we match those top holdings with the existing stocks you have. And if there's a match, we add them all together. So for one individual stock, what you have is not only your stock allocation, but also the stock allocation within that fund you have. The first one you see here is Apple. You've already had 10% of this portfolio in Apple, and at the same time, Apple is also inside the top holdings of some of the ETFs you have. For example, the S&P 500 will have Apple in it, and the iShares MSCI World will also have Apple. And we simply do the calculation, adding the 10% of Apple you have on the stock side, and also do the calculation on the fund side. We add them together, and that's why you see inside this portfolio, Apple is actually 11.3%. And so we do the same calculation for all the other stocks. The same applies to Diageo and VMware here. And then once we do that, we keep doing the same for other stocks inside those funds. And that is why you see companies like Microsoft, AstraZeneca start to show up, even though you don't have them on the stock part of the portfolio. So this is our feature of stock and fund look-through. Hopefully with this simple feature, it gives you better insights into what you truly hold. And one practical benefit of using this feature is if you have invested in a stock, and also at the same time you've invested a large part of your money into the ETF, and it just happens that ETF has the stock you had as one of their main holdings, it just tells you the simple common sense that you might want to diversify away from either of the two, because otherwise you will end up having too much exposure to one single stock. So this is the kind of situation that this feature will be quite beneficial to.